One of the first steps when starting any project, and in this case our narrative film, is to organize and import your media. And I actually said organize first because you don't always organize your media once it's been ingested. A lot of times you can do that before, or it's already done for you before. If you have access to the exercise files, I've already imported and organized and tagged the media for you. But let me go ahead and create a new event just so you can see the steps. I'm going to right-click, create a new event. We'll call this Part 1 Example. And now we're going to import our media. Now, one thing I really like about Final Cut Pro X is that I only have to go to one window to import my media, whether it's coming off of a camera, whether it's coming off of an archive or a camera card, or whether it's just already on my hard drive and I can just bring it in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hide this window because I want to show you my organizational structure that I did before so that when I import this media, it's automatically tagged and I have a head start. I'm going to hit Command-H to hide this, and if you notice, I have a folder called Media Organized. And I'm going to open that up, and what I did is I structured this so the footage that I'm using to cut in Part 1, 2, and 3 is all separate. In your case, it might be Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 of your narrative piece. Now, inside each of these folders, I've already pre-organized some of my media. If I knew it belonged to a specific scene, I would put it in that scene. So for instance, Scene 2 dialogue has all the footage that I'm going to use, or all the footage that I think I'm going to use, to cut that scene together. Now, if I want to add additional footage, it's easy enough to bring in and meta tag, but this starts me off. And additionally, I might have some sound effects, so I put those into a separate folder, as well as other scenes, and in this case, I have some room tone and the rough cut for you to view. Let me close this folder, and I'm going to step back into Final Cut Pro. So here we are. We're looking at our desktop. I have Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. I'm going to simply select Part 1 because that's what I want to import, and press the Import Selected button. Now, we go through a lot of detail in the essential training, but I just want to mention a couple key things that you might want to remember, and that's under Organizing. If you want to keep the media in its current location, uncheck Copy Files to the Final Cut Events folder. And every editor works differently. If this is on an external hard drive already, if it's on a backup drive or a loaner drive, you may want to move it to your own drive. So you may want to keep Copy Files to the Final Cut Events folder checked. If you want to work fast and not duplicate media, you can go ahead and uncheck that. But it's important that you keep Import Folders as Keyword Collections selected, because this is going to start adding the metadata from the folders that I have that media in. As for all the other selections, every editor works differently. Go back and watch the essential training and make the decision that's best for you. Now remember, even after you've imported your media, you can always go back, right-click on any piece of media or any event, and run this analysis in the background. I'm going to click Import, and now take a look at Part 1 Example. We already have keyword collections based upon each of the folders. So for instance, if I look at Scene 2 dialogue, all of those clips are available and already pre-sorted. So it's valuable that if you can organize your media into separate folders before you start working, it will cut down on some of the keywording that you need to do in the organizational process once you're inside Final Cut Pro.